Welcome to Podiatry Unfiltered. This is the podcast where we skip the sugarcoating and talk honestly about what it takes to survive and thrive as an independent podiatrist today. Hey everyone, welcome back to Podiatry Unfiltered. I'm Dr. Michele McGowan, and today, before I go any further, I just wanted to say, oh my goodness, I've been so happy with the response of only 2 podcasts in, and I've already received several emails from podiatrists that they weren't just, hey, cool podcast messages. They were real, authentic, and pretty vulnerable. Younger podiatrists feeling stuck in a practice after just being in there 5-6 years, feeling undervalued, exhausted, and honestly scared about what their next step is. And then older podiatrists who have been in practice for years and feel exactly the same way. And those emails really, they just hit me right here. It reminded me why I'm doing this. To every one of you who's reached out, thank you. It's helped me I'm going to go on. I just bought a new microphone, so I might as well at least do 10 episodes. If you're listening right now, though, and anybody that reached out, I just want to say you're not alone. You're not alone in this profession. Not all the days are going to be good days. You're not alone on the why'd I go to school for 8 years and trim toenail days. Not alone on the insurance just paid me $2.50 of a $400 claim and I've lost the will to live days. We're building something here together. So, and I also want to include students. I had a couple podiatry residents who reached out to me, and yeah, you're not stuck. I want to personally invite you to keep tuning in. There are nuggets here in this podcast that nobody teaches you in school or residency, how to actually make money in the profession, because we want to help patients first, but you also want to have a nice life doing it. How to build a practice that reflects your vision. How to go and avoid getting trapped in routine foot care forever. And for residents who reached out, is it possible to open your own practice these days? Absolutely. You don't want to get stuck on that private equity treadmill if you don't have to. But this is one of the best specialties out there. If you're a student, biomechanics, surgery, sports medicine, wound care, we literally prevent amputations and help athletes perform better. It's a great profession. You don't have to look at any nasty parts of anybody's body. People's like feet are nasty. There's nastier. So if anybody ever tells you podiatry is limited, it's not. And I wanted to go over today, what really for me was probably one of the best things I introduced to my practice. If I could talk to myself 15 years ago, I would have got it. I know that this technology, it is so much better now than what it was then. But yeah, I think at first I had a list of the top 10 things you should add to your practice. But that's not fair, because if you want to go back and listen to the podcast, what did she say again? So I'm just going to pick. Now, number 1, I'm not sponsored by anybody, which hear me out if you'd like to. Just ankle foot care email. But the class 4 laser, we use the Remy laser in our office, and I love it. Our patients love it. It works well for several foot and ankle problems. It's great for packaging. We package this together all the time with other regenerative medicine like PRP, Liposun, DPMX. It's great for packaging with products too. When we do the laser for neuropathy, we package it with a CBD cream and it increases and gives more value. Patients are looking for non-surgical options, but the laser also works really great for post-op patients with bunions and other foot and ankle surgeries. It helps speed up the recovery, decreases pain, and it lets us get into a different, higher level of care that you couldn't give your patients before. One of the common themes of a lot of the emails I got from other doctors was, I suck at selling. So how do you sell to your patients? And the reality is you don't sell to your patients. That's not what you're about. You're not a used car salesman. And I can honestly tell you, there's 2 things. I suck at selling, and I still do. So I just don't sell to my patients. I go over all the options. I've not changed how I practice in the sense that I'm still a good doctor. So I give patients all of their options. This is what we can do conservatively. This is an option of, I almost describe the regenerative piece as almost like a choose your own adventure book, because these are the things your insurance covers on this side, and you can choose them. And 70% of the people really do have great outcomes with that. So you could choose that. But let's say it's that athlete who has a marathon coming up and they want to get back to training sooner. they might choose this section of that You Choose Your Own Adventure book, and they may very much say, hey, yeah, I want to do that laser. And they're willing to pay for that because they're paying for something that their insurance is not willing to. So I don't sell to my patients. I just give them their options. As far as what's out there, we're having really great results to people who are like, oh, no, that's not real. This is not what we learned in school. So it can't, if I didn't learn that in my surgical residency, then this must be snake oil. It's not. And for the naysayers out there, this is not a podcast about teaching you about how the laser works, because you can go on YouTube, you can go to peer-reviewed literature, you can find several articles on the laser. But I can tell you, we have in our office, when anybody does the laser, or we have the SoftWave TRT machine as well, patients all fill out the VAS, the visual analog scale for pain, so that someday we can be a part of the movement to help move this form of regenerative medicine forward. But I have used this laser for almost anything. I've used it for neuropathy, acute sprains, peroneal tendonitis, posterior tibial tendonitis, Achilles tendonitis, and nail fungus with really good results. Patient selection is important, and managing expectations. And I'll just dive into some of my protocols. So that's why I honestly wanted to separate this to be a podcast about, I would do this modality first, and this would be what I would definitely go first with. So I'll just start with my protocol for nail fungus. Everybody I see who has nail fungus, I explain to them it's going to take you a year or more to grow out your fungal nail. And during that time period, I make them use a topical. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know probably, but here's the nitty gritty of my protocol. We do 4 treatments for nail fungus, and the patient can either choose to do $300 a session, or they can buy the whole package up front for $877. So the first 3 treatments are done 3 consecutive months in a row, and then the last one is done at that 9-month mark. They buy the topical. I don't include it in the $877. So we sell Tolslin in the office. Again, not sponsored, but we sell Tolslin in the office, and we charge $75. Patients have no complaints with it, and we have really nice results with it. But I don't want to gatekeep anything here. Yeah, I'm not sponsored by Remy. I'm not sponsored by Tolslin, but I really like these products. I think that they work really well. As far as our protocol for tendon and arthritis pain. So if a patient has Achilles tendonitis or peroneal tendonitis, and it's more on the acute side, I do the Remy laser. It's cheaper for the patient, but it also works really well for acute stuff. We usually do 6 treatments, and they either pay $150 per session, or they do, and that's just for 1 foot, $150, and the 2 feet is $1,200 for the package of 6. For neuropathy, we do 10 sessions, and the package session for our package for the neuropathy is a nerve reverse, a CBD cream, and we charge $2,400. So the reason I charge more for that is because it takes a lot longer to do the neuropathy treatment for the neuropathy treatment with the laser. It's a longer visit. You're spending a lot more time with the patient, and you want them to have good outcomes. So it's not something you want to rush, and the patient understands that. And that sounds like a lot of money, right? But patients who had neuropathy who cannot sleep, and they usually come in around the 3rd or 4th treatment, wow, I can really see a difference. And then it's just a home run. Now, my patient selection for neuropathy is, I think it works very well for people who have neuropathy after chemotherapy. And I think it works really well with diabetic peripheral neuropathy. I do not think it works as well in my experience, and I haven't tried it because I just don't think it, for like lower lumbar radiculopathy, I'm not doing the laser on those people. I'm sending them out to pain management or whoever, because I just don't think I don't think it works for that. But yeah, patients, when they finally are not waking up in the middle of the night and they're much improved, they're very happy that they had the laser done. As far as how the laser can be really impactful right away, besides the fact that patients love it, it works for fungus, it works for neuropathy, it works for tendon pain. I've had really good results with some people with arthritis, but for example, like a plantar fasciitis, we do the 3D printing custom orthotics, so we actually add that into the mix as well in a package. The best part about this is there's zero arguing with insurance companies over ridiculous denials, and with the right protocols and messaging, a laser can add easily 10,000 to 30,000 extra per month in your practice, but you're truly helping people who are suffering. And again, the laser isn't selling. It's leading patient to a solution they didn't know existed. And I, again, am terrible at selling. So I just go through it and then the patient makes the choice. I really do hope this lights a fire under some of your butts to get out there and implement something into your practice that's good for you and your patients. If you like this content, subscribe. Feel free to follow us. I have a TikTok channel, Podiatry Unfiltered, and Instagram, Podiatry Unfiltered, and YouTube, Podiatry Unfiltered. And then if you want to become a free member at the independentpodiatristnetwork.com, feel free to do. We share information on there as well on how to implement, and I have all my treatment protocols on there, and I'm constantly updating that information as well. So I hope this helps. As far as class 4 laser, we bought our first laser, and within 2 months we paid off our first laser, and then 2 months later we bought a second laser. We use it. There's 2 doctor practice, and the 2 things you can hear in our practice going all day long is you can hear our soft wave clicking and you can have our laser beeping, and patients want you to offer these technologies. Just remember that.